Alright, so in this video we're going to show how to make histograms using Excel. Okay, so we know a histogram, it looks like a bar graph, but it's not quite. It's going to group quantitative data into ranges, okay, consistent ranges, which are referred to as either classes or bins. Okay, so notice Excel uses the term bin for the classes or for the ranges of values, okay? And we're going to use Excel to make different histograms here for this same set of data, and you'll see that the graphic representation of that data changes as you change the bin width. All right, so what we've got here, we've got the percent of the population aged 25 and over with the bachelor's degree, and that's for all 50 states. I've already entered all the data here, okay, for all 50 states and then for Washington, D.C. So we've got 51 data points here. You don't want to use histograms if you've only got a few data points. For example, say your math class only has 10 students in it. You know, you wouldn't make a histogram for those 10 data points because the story that comes from that histogram is really meaningless. It's not going to tell a good story here. So what we want to do is we want to highlight these 51 data points. I'm going to show you two ways to get to the histogram. So I've highlighted the 51 data points. I'm going to scroll back up. Okay, so there's two ways to get to the histogram. So there's insert statistic chart here. When you click on that, you're going to see a couple options. So you've got the histogram. That's the default histogram that shows up. You've got a box and whisker plot. Okay, and then there's more statistical charts. I'm also going to show you how to go through recommended charts. Okay. If you'll click on all charts here, you see how many different options we actually have, okay? And the histogram is going to be here. So I'm going to go to it from here. So I'm going to insert a histogram, okay? Now, for this, we want our bin width to be 5.0. And you can see here that the bin width is actually 4.9. So it's pretty close to that, but it's not exactly what we want, okay? So we can rename the chart here. All right, so let's say percent with bachelor's degree, and I'll put a plus sign there. Okay, so bachelor's degree or more. So if we want to change the bin width, okay, just like when we did a bar graph and a pie chart, you can change the axes the way we did there. But if I want to click on these bin widths here, so I'm going to double click here. I'm going to try to double click there. Okay, and it says format axis. Okay. So once we get to this option, notice here with the axis options, you see bin width. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change this to 5.0 because I want it to be exactly 5.0. Okay, and I'm going to press enter. And notice my bin width changes to 5.0 exactly. All right, I'm going to make this a little bigger here so we can see it. All right, so notice, you can see the distribution here. This is all the states between 17 and 22%. Okay, the way histograms work, 22% would be included in this first bin. Okay, 22% would not be included here. So you've got 10 states between 17 and 22%. You've got, what's this? Looks like probably about 23 states. I think that's a little over halfway. So about 23 states between 22 and 27. You can see it says 23 there for the value. Here, 27 to 32, there's 11 states. There are 6 states between 32 and 37. And we've got an empty class here, or an empty bin here, and that's okay. And then we've got one value out here. This is Washington, D.C., that has a value between 42 and 47. Okay, so this graphical representation tells us a story, and we'll go into more detail about this distribution a little bit later on. Okay, now, let's do a bin width of 4.0. So again, I'm going to highlight all the data points. Okay, I'm going to insert my histogram. I'm going to go through this way this time. It's a little bit quicker. Okay, I'm not going to change the chart title. We've already done that. So let's double click here. Our format axis should come up. We're going to change our bin width. This time it's going to be 4.0. So enter that. Press enter. And you can see the histogram looks a little bit different. Okay, so we've got, looks like we've got a few more classes. Okay, here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different bins or 7 different classes. Okay, in our first we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only had 6 classes. All right, so changing the bin width created more classes, and it breaks down the information a little bit more for you. Okay, so now let's break it down a little bit more. So we're going to highlight the data. Again, all 51 data points. Notice we're not highlighting the states or Washington, D.C. Let's insert statistical chart, histogram. Okay. Again, we're going to highlight format the axis here, bin width. We're going to go even smaller with our bin width because we want to see more of the distribution here. So 2.5. Let me X out of that. Okay, so you can see now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different bins or 11 different classes. So you can see a little more of the distribution of the data. And we're going to go over pretty soon how to analyze these distributions. And you know, these graphical representations will tell us a lot more. But again, the goal for this video was just to make histograms and to change bin width. And I think we've done that. Okay? Any questions, let me know.